Greetings, family. Thank you, and welcome to the Art of Rising. We're here giving you information, some of the codes, in order for you to use in your daily life. I'm here with a great friend. I'm going to bring him on. You already know that we're gearing up for this Sunday for the uh, purely holistic. What was the name of it again?
Soul Expo.
Beautiful. So I met a powerful brother here. I just allow him to introduce himself and tell us where you live and what are you doing with yourself these days.
All right, my name is Brother Cam. I'm Cameron Simons, LMT, that's licensed massage therapist. A lot of people know me as Cam, Brother Cam. I'm the CEO of ARMU LLC, that's Axial Release Massage and Energy Works. That's what ARMU stands for, ARMEW. Like I said, I'm a New York State licensed massage therapist. I am a Reiki master, Qigong, Tai Chi practitioner and teacher. And yeah, that's what I spend most of my time doing. Most of my day deals with energy all day in its various forms. Even, as we're traveling, I'm in New York City. My office is actually in Manhattan, in Chelsea. And then, so it's like we're constantly dealing with energy, whether it's on my commute, you know what I mean? Just dealing with people, observing people. It's energy in so many different forms. And I know we're gonna get to discuss that as we're talking today, just how it manifests.
Of course. And how we met also. It was just divine timing and
Right.
everything is clicking so right. And yeah, I love what you're doing, your mission, and some of the things we spoke about. And I said, wow, this guy, he's tapped in, he has some of the codes. So, you're here and please, school us, man, let us know, like from the beginning, when you came out of you're from Brooklyn? Is that where you're from?
No. So I actually grew up in Westchester, New York.
Mm.
And so even growing up there, spent a lot of my time in the woods, And it's funny because out there, like things that were just kind of common to me, like there was a lot of Native American stuff out there that I didn't even realize. But and it's like old world, like where I'm this things that I was seeing as a child, probably, hundreds of thousands of years old. But we never we didn't know what they were, you know what I'm saying? And as I got older, I started to explore more and realize like, oh wait, this is something. And you look into it and then, I don't know if you heard of these things. They call them glacial erratics. Have you ever heard these?
I have
And you
not.
see like a rock sitting on, I know I've got books. It's crazy. I've got so many books. I'm not going to whip them out right now, but you see like a rock that's sitting on these 3 or 4 little rocks. And you're like, how did that get like that? And they say, oh yeah, when the glaciers melted and you had a bunch of rocks that were laid. I was like, I don't think glaciers did that. Nah, they didn't. These glaciers didn't point this direction specifically. You know what I'm saying? Whatever direction it, like, nah, that's not what happened. And so you see all these archaeological features, especially all over New England, and they tie into the mound cultures of the Americas. Like when you just step back and kind of observe, then you realize, oh, okay, this is something way deeper than what we're being told it is. Because on the basic level, you're like, who put this here?
Right. Yeah. How did it get here?
Who took the time to do this? This is a lot of manpower. What?
Yeah, I told you offline that we do men's retreats at the Omzia Healing Sanctuary, and there's this place in I think it's by Kunkletown, PA, and we're aware that the indigenous people were the Lenni Lenape people. Right? So those are the indigenous people that they were here for hundreds, if not thousands of years, right?
Right.
Because they already know. But I usually take the men out hiking and we go to a waterfall and we went to this reserve and we, went down deep in like that. And then some of the rocks they would like they I can't even describe to you. They look like books. Who knows what they are and how did it get like that sideways and like, oh man, incredible. Incredible. Just to look at the rocks. Yeah.
Right, the rocks. I
You
mean,
know.
and it's wild just how, I mean, it's going into deeper levels, but like crystals, people into crystals now, gemstones, all this stuff, right? And I
Mhm.
think we're gonna learn as time goes on. Let me say it like this: we're gonna learn as time goes on. This is my opinion that these
Mhm.
crystals, the amount of information that they're holding is a lot deeper than I think we're
Mhm.
acknowledging right now.
Mhm. Mm.
You know what I mean? And this is even
That's
ones
true.
like that we might think are mundane. You know what made me think of this? I went to, what was it? The museum, was it the Museum of Modern Art, right? The MoMA.
Mhm,
And
the
they had
MoMA.
yeah, and they had an Egyptian exhibit. And I never
Mhm.
made it, I've never really made it past like the entrance way to the Egyptian exhibit because there was this statue and it was made of quartzite. And it was a brother, and he was, standing with his left foot backwards, and he had his apron and everything. I'm just studying this. I'm like, oh man, like I'm stuck. I'm fascinated by it. And then in my fascination, somewhere in my fascination, I realized that I was like, oh wait, no, this thing is uploading information.
Mm.
You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? It's like
Right, right.
it's and so I'm downloading information, and then even since then, that was probably summer last year. I'm still unzipping it, if you want to use modern terms. So
Mm,
this is the
mm,
thing when we interact with
mm,
these features, these geological features, archaeological features, where
mm,
we're downloading information, and then it's like,
mhm,
okay, what do
mm.
we do with this information from there?
Right, right. That's wonderful. That's incredible. So that's your prediction. You heard it first here in the Art of Rising. Camera said that the crystals have much more than what we think there is. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we have the event on Sunday. So I just wanted to make a quick mention or some
Mhm,
mention of,
mhm.
and that's how we were connected through Monique and the Nicholas, Brooklyn,
Right.
right? I've probably been there because I'm a Brooklyn native, right? This is a Brooklyn accent, by the way.
Mhm.
And we came out of Red Hook and we ended up like in Flatbush, Prospect Park. I bounced around a bit. So, but I'm from the whole tri-state area, Bronx, Queens, and I've been around, for many
Mhm.
years there, traveling through the train systems. And Flatbush was always a big one right there. In
Mm,
Fulton Street is always the big,
mm.
avenue,
Right.
and they're next to Restoration Plaza,
Mm,
which is like a stone throw away from the business that Monique is running there. But I know her store is very big, and I've seen lots of pictures. She's got books and clothing, and she has events there, and like
mhm.
so she connected. I'm connected to her through Cafunia, which
Mm.
Cafunia also works with her too,
Right.
and I kept telling her, we got to bring the ice plunge. You got to bring it there. And
Mm,
Kafuni's like,
mhm,
okay, hold on, brother. We're gonna get there. We're gonna
mhm.
wait till the weather's nice. I'm like, weather's nice. No, this is about uncomfortable thing
Right.
here. So they put me in for Sunday. I'm super stoked to be there, man. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what are you providing to the public on that day, this
I
Sunday?
I will. Thank you. Thank you for that. And so first, I want to give a big shout out to Nicholas Brooklyn. Of course, big shout out to Monique Nicholas. Big shout out to Sister Cafunia. Big shout out to Brother Ankh, Rising Sun,
Mhm.
all of
Uncle
them as
Unc.
they
Mhm.
collaborate because they've been doing a lot of good work in the community for
Great work.
50 years. You know what I'm saying? Like Nicholas and hip hop, they're the same age. They came up around the same time.
Mhm, mhm,
And Monique has definitely carried on that legacy. Over as long as I've known Monique, and I've been Nicholas family for, oh man, it's almost 20 years now. Wow, that's
mm,
crazy.
mm,
Almost
mm.
20 years, and
Wow.
she's been, just real supportive of me, and I've seen her support so many different businesses, entrepreneurs, artists, like a lot of
Mm,
people you even see on the larger stage at this point have come through Nicholas.
mm.
And
Mm,
so it's been great to just see so many different artists, so many different talents, so many
mhm,
different businesses come through there, and Monique giving them a platform. So this
mhm,
event coming up is a really huge event. This is the first event that she's putting on of this kind, and
mhm,
their collaboration, Monique and Sister Cafunia. I think Brother Hank is involved as well. I think all the three of them
mhm,
are doing this. It
mhm,
is the Purely Holistic Soul Expo.
mhm,
And yeah, we're gonna have all these healers come out, different healers, vendors, so many different talented people. And me, I'll be doing massage therapy. I'll have my chair massage there. So I do massage, energy work. I always say that for me, dealing in the mainstream, in this 3D world,
mhm,
massage is just a vehicle for energy work. And it's a
mhm,
great vehicle for me
mhm.
because not everybody knows what energy work is or is familiar or even wants to engage in that. That's good. No problem. We can deal with that. Can you breathe? Right? Can you breathe? Okay, we're gonna teach you how to breathe a little bit better. Listen,
Mhm,
and I've had people on my chair now. This isn't even on the table going in deep. On the chair, I've had people come up
mhm,
crying and all kind of
mhm.
stuff. What's going on? Oh, you're releasing some emotions, right? You
Wow, wow.
holding on to that, you letting go of that stuff that no longer serves you, right? You know what I mean? So
I
that's
know.
what you know what I'm talking about, brother.
You sound like me.
Yeah, because I know, because I saw, because let me tell the people, because you and I, our first time talking was probably what, an
Mhm,
hour
mhm,
ago.
mhm.
Our first time
That's
actually
right.
speaking with each other wasn't
Yeah,
more than an hour
yeah.
ago, okay? But it's like this is my brother right
Mhm,
here. You know what I mean? It's like,
mhm, mhm. When you feel it, you know it, you know it, you know
yeah,
it. Great things happening right here unfolding. I love
yeah.
it. I love it.
And I saw, because in the ads, in your ad showing the people doing the cold plunge, I said, "Oh no, this brother's for real. Got people doing the cold plunge." I've been listen. That's a whole other level of mastery. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. My lady
Mhm.
laughs at me because I turn on the cold shower. Like I'll take my regular hot shower, then I'll turn it
Right.
cold, and I'll end my
Mhm, mhm,
shower with the cold shower. But
mhm,
it's like
mhm,
the cold plunge. Like I've gone to the spas and done the cold plunge. That's
mhm.
a
Yeah.
different level right there, brother.
Mhm. It is. It's all tied to the breath.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're talking about. Can you breathe? Yes. Then you're good. Then let's go. I'll help you. I'll work with you. I'm with you all the way. Some people go to the spa and they be like, I went to the spa. I was in the water for like 30 seconds. And I was like, yeah, that's because nobody's there with you. It's not it's a coaching thing that you have to help people through it. It's difficult. It's a
It's
shock. It's cold shock. You know?
that right there. What you're doing is shamanic work.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
shamanic work. And it's funny because in these modern days, especially, it's like, what is a shaman? It's I feel like there's a lot of shaman out there
Mhm, mhm,
who just need to be reintroduced to themselves,
mhm,
because
mhm,
we all have medicine that we're providing, right? We all have medicine that we were given at conception, that was probably obviously before conception, right? But
mhm,
then we have a certain medicine that we're supposed to provide to the world. And so when you go through an experience like that cold plunge, you're
mhm,
going deep down into yourself and
mhm,
pulling out that medicine. Do you have a
mhm.
lot of people who cry,
Cry, laugh. I had this
laugh,
one
right?
sister, every time she get it, she laugh, "Ha, ha, 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 ha," and she's like, "I get like that when I'm stressed and nervous and, like, I'm holding it down." I'm like, "That's alright, sister, let it out, go ahead." But yeah, people just let go. It's deep. We do have the ice plunge in conjunction with the breath work.
Mhm.
So we normally put people through the ringer with the breath.
Mm,
There's different um, techniques and styles of breathing, but ultimately we're taking power breaths. We're breathing in oxygen heavy,
mm,
and just let it go. And we do, like, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30, sometimes more of those, and then we do air retention where we
mm,
I signal them, and they on the last one they let all the air out, and they hold that breath, and they sink into the earth, into
mm.
Pachamama, and they release all that negative. They just, because we're living on this huge recycling machine. The earth is here for us, right?
Right,
Right?
right.
It's energy. It's energy.
Yeah.
So then they hold the air for, I don't know, it could be like 30 seconds to a minute. Some then it goes more. It goes like 2 minutes as we go around, more rounds, more rounds. But
Mm.
then after that, then we breathe in deep. And then we hold that one very deeply tight and push the air up into your cranial, and it starts
Ooh.
activating,
Right,
the pineal gland right there. And then
right.
people, they come out with these crazy stories like, "Oh my God, I seen all these shapes. I saw the disco ball. I saw
Uh-huh.
this purple lights." And yeah, because you're activating
Mm.
the dimethyltryptamine in your body.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the
Oh,
medicine I bring, brother.
that's deep. That's powerful. And so part of even what I've been into is really kind of tying like the scientific and so-called spiritual, because I think that like there's a lot of spookiness out there when it comes to so-called spirituality, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And it's not spooky at all. It's just
mhm.
things that maybe we don't in modern times we don't understand like ancient people understood it. I always
Right.
use this example, right?
Mhm,
Before there were MRI machines and all these things, it was the doctors used physical diagnosis to figure out what was going on with people. They were looking in their eyes, looking at their skin, their tongue, feeling their pulse,
mhm,
looking at their body to see if they have dark spots, red marks, rashes, anything. Everything was fair game.
mhm,
Like in Chinese medicine, they would tell you, don't brush your teeth. Like the really good ones, don't brush your teeth in the morning. I want to smell your breath and see
mhm,
what
mm,
organ
mm,
is being affected because when we're sleeping we're, all of our body's detoxing. If we're listen, we should be detoxing and releasing and everything in
mhm.
our sleep. A lot of people are in constant fight or flight. That's another thing. That's goes
That's
into my work. We'll talk about that in a minute.
okay.
But
Okay.
but all this detoxing that we're doing, so that there's certain scents that are associated with certain organs. And so
Mm,
when you smell someone's breath, especially in the morning, you say, okay, now that person has a liver thing going on. Okay, I know
mhm,
what's going on there. Let me deal
mm,
with the liver. So it was all physical diagnosis.
mm, mm,
And the more if you they put it they follow nature.
mm,
So like Chinese medicine, they would use the five elements,
mm,
wood, fire, earth, water,
mhm, mhm,
air, or metal, right?
mhm,
Because
mhm,
they say, okay, we can associate what's going on in the body with those things.
mm.
India does a different version. The
Right,
different
right.
African
Mhm,
cultures do different versions of that, but it's all
mm,
physical diagnosis
mm,
based off of based off of nature,
mm,
right?
mm,
So,
mhm,
but when you have people who perceive different things, like this is something I say, and this is going to tie all in, right? We
mhm,
live in a society right now where we don't even really see the the stars, right?
mm.
Because of light pollution.
Right.
Even if you're 100 miles from the city, you're not really seeing the sky, the night sky as it really looks. If there
Mm,
was a blackout right now, right?
mhm, mhm,
We would actually get just across the country, you would really see what the sky looks like. And
mhm,
so there was an understanding through night and day that the earth, there's something living and breathing about the earth. There's a
mm,
natural ebb and flow with the earth,
mm,
right?
mm,
And so you're naturally
mhm,
going to perceive things like if you sit and watch the night sky with
mhm,
no interrupt, you're going to see the weird stuff floating around and zipping back and forth like
mhm,
this.
mhm,
You know what I
mhm,
mean? And so
mhm.
all you can say is there's something going on. I don't know what it is. Some
Right,
people know what I don't know what it is, but I see it. It's
right.
happening, right, brother?
Mhm, mhm.
It's
That's
happening. It's
right.
existing. And
Mhm,
so it also trains your eye because now you're gonna see things that maybe you see things like the animals see it, right?
mhm, mhm, mhm,
I saw this picture and it was of this bird, this black bird, and it had this beautiful like rainbow coloring on it. And it
mm,
said that this is a blackbird, this is a crow or whatever, but they're not black. We
mm.
humans just can't perceive all the different colors on it
Right.
because of our limited vision. Our vision is like in here, but then
Mhm.
it's all
Yes,
this
the
light,
spectrum. Mhm,
right? The
mhm.
light spectrum, right? And
Mhm,
so going to the physical diagnosis in the body, right? It's like the pineal
Mhm.
gland, like you were
Mhm.
talking about,
Mhm. Mhm.
it perceives a certain spectrum of light.
Mhm. Mm.
Eyes perceive a certain spectrum of light. The skin perceives a certain spectrum of light. Our
Mhm.
cells perceive certain spectrum of light.
Mm.
So with all that, like things that we might think are so-called spiritual have a scientific basis. We just don't
Mm.
necessarily understand the science that it's based on.
Yeah, that's facts for sure. And if you notice, a lot of things that are happening now, they go, "Oh, we discovered this thing," and then you go, "Wait a minute!" Like the Tibetans, they were saying that like hundreds of years ago, like it's in their holy scriptures, like or yeah, in Africa, they've been know that, right? You think
Right.
about the Dogon, the story of the Dogon. They
Mhm,
already knew Sirius B and all that, and you can't see it
mhm.
with the naked eye, but they knew it and all that. They even had a model. They even had a model of
They
it and
drew
all
it
that.
out for
Yeah,
you.
hmm,
They just
yeah,
put it and Sirius C
that's right.
too, all 3 of
Yeah,
them.
right. Yeah, and people were like, "Man, get out of here." And then less than 50 years ago, they just, "Oh, we
Right.
discovered it."
We discovered
Yeah,
we
yeah.
discovered what the Dogon told us was there the whole time.
Right. Yeah, well, you already know we live in a patriotic system, right? Men basically are running the world, right? With
Mhm,
this left brain thinking. Right. So when we see the river,
mhm.
we want to hold it, contain it, put something, block it, and then just move it over here
Right,
and put this wall and then and then ruin everything else around down the way,
right,
agriculture and towns and city and villages, and we don't care. It's dried up and everything. They don't care. But the
right.
ancient people weren't like that. They were so, like you speak of, so in tune with the earth, you know.
Mhm.
There's many stories that come out of my ancestors, right? Some of them are from the island of Puerto Rico.
Mm,
And they were really, some of them, the Tainos, were the Arawaks that come from South America.
right.
And one of the stories I love is, when they found out, like, how did they get out to the islands, to a place where you cannot see. You can't
Mhm.
see it with your eyes. How would you
Right.
know how to get there and all that? And one of the stories was they would get into the canoe and put their feet in the water and lay back like that, and then just wait and then feel the rhythm. Yeah, feel the rhythm of the ocean like that and go that way. Yeah, they were in
Wow.
touch.
You see
Yeah.
that?
Mm-hmm.
That's because you know what I wonder about? I always thank you for that, brother, because I always wonder about like you see the islands like Fiji, Tahiti, or even like Hawaii, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like these islands are in the middle of nowhere. How did
Mm-hmm.
y'all go to that island? Like, how
Yeah.
did you find in the
Yeah.
Pacific is huge? Like, how
Yeah.
did y'all figure
Yep.
that out?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It was just like that. They were just in tune with the planet. We've lost that. If you see natives, especially like the indigenous people here,
Hmm.
of the Americas, so called. I mean, it's not the proper name, but
Hmm.
just for argument's sake, you'd always see them like, hey, 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 and they
Right,
always like with that.
right.
I learned that is the heartbeat of the planet. The boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's deep. We're
Wow.
lost, when they get all into this technology and stuff. It's
Mhm.
fine. We're up to date and everything is
Right,
beautiful. I love it. It's colorful, and they're feeding us like this AI, because that's
right,
the stuff that they don't want no more. You already know.
right,
When
right.
they
Oh,
give it to us,
they're old stuff. They're
it's
old
old
stuff.
stuff. They're old stuff. Yeah, it's just like the internet. That was a military thing. They were
Right.
using the military. We couldn't have that.
How
So
many
when they
years?
get
Like 50, 60 years before they even let us have it. Just let us have a little piece of it. Say, "Hey, y'all can
Yeah,
have
right, right. Yeah, yeah. But these healing modalities that are coming up, I feel that people are getting back to the natural state, getting into energy work, into
it." Right.
Reiki, which it's scientifically proven that Reiki works.
Mhm.
That was created, I believe, by a Japanese, right?
Right.
Japanese master or something like that.
Rediscovered
He
by the
rediscovered.
Japanese.
Exactly.
Rediscovered. And I
Exactly.
had to throw that in there. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
even they say it, like even yeah, you already know, brother. Like even though it was rediscovered, because again, if you go to the Happy Valley, they call then they call it the Nile Valley, but the Happy Valley, they were doing this energy work all through the continent. This was being done all through India. This was being done. Like if you look at the progression of it, right? I'm gonna do it backwards for this,
Mhm.
but right, the Happy Valley, the Nile Valley, into India, into China, into Japan. Like you can see the progression
Mhm.
of the technology, and I call it technology because that's what it is. Like our
Mhm.
bodies are technology.
Mhm.
You know this with the work that you do. That you
Mhm.
know our bodies are technology, right? And
Mhm.
so you had these temple universities. You would see, like, look at Magao caves in China, Magao. If y'all ever look at that, you can see these were places where people were educated on how to use their bodies and how to refine their bodies so that they can access this higher information. So something like Reiki, the brother went to the mountain, he meditated, and he said he got hit in the head with the Reiki symbols. And
Mhm.
then that's how we learned it. That's how he was reintroduced to it. But Reiki, from what I understand now, it's not like it was something that didn't exist in Japan at the time. He just really codified it and created the lineage that we
Mhm.
have right now.
Mm, mm. That's super powerful. I'm looking at the caves. Yeah. I had an opportunity to go to Egypt, ancient Kemet, because that's
Mhm.
how I like to say the real
That's the
word.
name. That's the proper
Yeah, that's the
name.
name, the proper name. I know Egypt.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's
Right.
another podcast, right?
Right. Right. No.
But I had an opportunity to go to Kemet, and we stood for 30 days.
Mm.
And we went to all the temples. Many we took internal flights and bus rides and all that. And the temple in Dendera, that's the one that
Mhm.
has the light bulb, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And then you learn that those places, they were like you said, they were schools of technology. Even Socrates and Plato, they said, yeah, we was over there learning all these things. We learned it from Kemet.
Right.
And those schools, they weren't easy to get in. I read somewhere that oftentimes it took 20 years for you to get into one of those schools.
Mhm.
They wasn't letting just anybody in.
Nope.
Nah. No, it's
Nope.
it's it's, it's like you if you know how to build a nuclear bomb, you're not gonna teach just everybody how to do it.
No. It's
You
gotta
gotta.
gotta be a vetting
Yeah,
process.
exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was quite fascinating going to the temples. And we were by the Great Pyramids, and at the
Mm.
time I was still, I'm awake a little bit, but back then I was like comatose,
Wow.
but I was trying to wake up. Like I went. That's why I went there with
Mhm.
my wife, because I wanted to actually see and touch things. Not I didn't want to take people's word for it. I
Right.
wanted to go to the temples, feel the energy, feel the stones.
Mm.
And s- s- in within the group, some conversations came up about spirituality and energy, and I was like, nah, you know what, I don't really go for that. I just don't see it. I just don't. I kid you not. That night I had a dream. That in my ear, rocks started coming out like with wax, and just like big boulders started coming out of my ear. I kid you not, brother. I kid you not. Yep. Woke up the next, I was like, oh, honey, you're not gonna believe this. And like I feel that ever since then, like then the journey started, like it started opening up more doors for me, waking up a little bit more. And yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it kinda comes full circle to what we were
Mhm,
talking about before, right?
mhm,
Being around these certain things, it's supposed to activate us
mhm.
in the
Yeah.
end of the day. It's not like, "Oh, this is a wonderful piece of art." It's like, "All right, and I don't even know your belief system, right? But I understand that we've got, creator, if you wanna call them angels,
Mhm,
guides, ancestors, all these things, this whole
mhm,
team that's with us, that's
mhm,
working on us." They say, "Okay, he's ready now. Let's
mhm,
do our work on him. He's ready."
mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
That's
right.
what's supposed to happen when we interact with this type of technology.
Yeah, when the student's ready, right? Right? Then the master shows up, right?
Mhm,
Speaking of technology, when we do the breath work, right? It's a deep meditative state, and I use the crystal bowls,
mm,
and there's wind chimes and different drumming, and but I also use the didgeridoo.
ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
And this is technology, brother. I learned that the didgeridoo works on your bones. It works on your bones.
Really,
Yeah, yeah.
please talk about that, because
It heal
I've
it he
heard, like, whispers and murmurs of this.
Mhm.
Please talk about
Yeah, yeah. Well, the didgeridoo is the technology that brings you. into the dream world, into the dream time of the aboriginal stories that are coming out of there. So it's sort of like that plug, that connection. You have to go to that vibration. It's just,
Like Wi-Fi.
it's just like Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's just like plants, right? You think of plant medicine,
Mhm.
right? So l- like for instance, the planet, may be in trouble. Like it's like saying, hey, you guys are ruining things around here. Like, but how would the plants tell us that? You would have to ingest the plant in order for you to go to its vibrational frequency, for you to get the messages and say, hey, stop wasting and stop poisoning the planet, and help people, and heal, and everything's energy you get to see, and you
Yeah.
can work with it.
I
Mhm.
don't, are we on YouTube right now?
Yeah, we're live on YouTube.
All right. I hope this doesn't get you fired from YouTube. But listen, I feel like every global leader should consume some plant medicine.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
should be
for
a
real.
prerequisite. Like, all right,
Mhm. Yeah.
maybe you could be this and that leader, but you're gonna eat this
Yeah,
first, and we're gonna get to sit here and watch how you
yeah,
behave, and
yeah,
you know what I mean. Have some
yeah,
shamans guide you through
yeah,
this journey before you
mhm,
even step into that role,
yeah, yeah, for
because
sure.
it's so I don't need to explain why.
Mhm. Right, right. There should be something like that, because currently, you don't have to be the smartest guy, and it's just all about influence and the money and stuff like that, and those power trips that people are doing, but it would be great. There was a guy named Jacques something or other, and he had the Venus Project. I don't know if you know about this.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, what he said, he was a free man, like what
Mhm.
we would consider free. He didn't answer to anybody, and he was just doing his mission. And he said that the planet and humans, the planet's going to be fine, but humans are in trouble, right? We can't keep going on like this. So he had some ideas, and he said, every rooftop should have a garden. We should be growing our own food. There should be silos of layers of floors of food, tomatoes, potatoes, everywhere.
Mhm.
And then he said the world leaders, if anything, they should be scientists. Why? Because two and two is four here, and two and two is four in Japan. They work with facts. At least they do that, So,
Right. And I'm glad you said that too. I've heard of the Venus Pride. I have to go back and see because I heard
mm,
about that again recently. But if you look at again going to the Happy Valley, I just use that as an example because that was a huge classical civilization. I don't think we know enough about right now.
mm,
And you had pharaohs or Nesebiti who were physicians,
mm,
architects, mathematicians, doctor, like all kind of stuff.
mm,
And
mm,
so it wasn't just about money. It was about like these were real people with real lives
mm, mm.
who then assumed these positions because someone said, you know what, you're gonna do great to lead this civilization to the next step.
Yeah, yeah. It just seems like, yeah, yeah. I don't want to get kicked off, but yeah,
Treading
you
that
already,
line,
yeah,
treading.
yeah. You already know. Like they used to pick the high priest because the way he looked, like he was tall and all that, had nothing to do whether he was spiritual or nothing like that. And then they ended up abusing the systems and just
Mhm.
ruining people up, and they still do that.
Right.
They
Still
still,
do that to this day, right?
yeah, that's why when you go like into the Amazon, to some of these cultures that they have very little contact and stuff like that, they already have a system going. They already have hierarchy, and they don't even have the same words we have. Like steal, rob, fear. Like they don't even have those words, bro.
And thank you. And that just shows, on a level like how words shape your reality. You
Mhm,
know, I saw this. I was in it was the museum on no, excuse me, the library on 42nd Street. They had some exhibit. I can't remember what it was now, a couple years back, but
mhm,
they had this book. They said it was the first Bible, the first English Bible. They
mhm,
said that this English Bible
mhm,
basically was almost like the blueprint for the English language.
mm,
And so it's like, oh, so the words, like the language that we speak
mm,
came from.
Mm.
basically came from the Bible, from somebody piling this English Bible together, and they said, "Okay, we'll make a dictionary after this now." So
Mm.
that shapes that just shows you how our current paradigm is shaped by,
Mhm.
you know, we're
Yeah.
in the Euro Christian paradigm, and a lot of us don't even
Mhm.
realize it.
Right.
Even as long as we're speaking English, like there's no getting out of it. You can't even
Right. Right. Yeah.
get
And
in
then
it.
people don't even question it, Camron. You know? That's what I tell people, like, question, go find out, discover, look at it, Don Miguel Ruiz, right?
Mm,
Don Miguel Ruiz from the Four Agreements. He wrote that book.
yes, yes.
It's a quite
Still haven't
popular
read it.
book. Do you know it?
I know
The
the
Four
body. It's
Agreements.
sitting on
It's a
my shelf
practical
right
book.
now.
And it's a practical one. I've gifted it many times. It's you can use it every day. That's the thing. The Four Agreements. He went back to his ancestors and he found that they lived by some agreements, and one of them
Mm,
was keep your words impeccable, right?
mm,
Because words hurt, words are powerful. Think of a guy like Hitler, like he probably never even killed a roach. Like he just talked and people went in, right? So words are powerful. Um, don't take anything personal,
mm,
right? If they say, "Hey, you're an idiot," maybe you are, and if you're not, why are you mad too? Because you're not, right? Don't take it personal. Oh, that girl likes me. How do you know? She could, maybe be thinking about her nephew, cousin. You look like him,
mhm,
The other one is don't assume anything.
mm.
Like, oh man, people like me. They love me here. No, you don't know that. You don't assume it. It could be setting you up. You don't know. You don't know. And
Mhm,
then the last one was do your best. So,
mhm,
like, if you're mopping the floor or making a sandwich, you do the best that you can. Why?
mhm.
Because that prevents like self loathing and self, criticism, right? Because if somebody doesn't like it, that's them. You did your best in that. But my point is that
Mhm.
he made a powerful point when I saw this in the book. I mean, it jumped out right at me, Cameron. And he said that we're domesticated just like dogs.
Mm,
We don't even question. We
mm.
don't question. We should question.
Right,
Look, investigate. Why you don't work on Sunday? Why? I mean anything.
right,
What's the holy Icarus or why? What is it? Rose from the dead in 3 days? Like, wow, really? Yeah.
right.
Find out. Like, was he the only one?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Mm,
even ask the question.
right. Virgin birth? Was he the
Right,
only virgin one? Okay, you see,
right.
I know people are tuning out right now. I know that, but
They say, "I'm not listening to this.
eh,
I'm done."
you're right. But I know there's people sitting up too and go, "Oh, wait a
Mhm.
minute, he's
Right,
right."
right. Because you like it's so true, brother. You have to ask the questions,
Mhm.
because whatever God is out there, whatever God that people believe in or don't believe in, you're gonna tell us that we can't question it. Like,
Right, right,
God,
right,
why am I here?
right,
Why did I have such a bad day? You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
Why did my grandma die? Like,
You have the ability. Whoever
right,
created us gave us the ability to question.
right,
You know, that's why they say in those belief systems, don't question, don't
right.
question, don't. Yeah. In fact, they go, just read this book. Just read this book. Don't read any other books.
Right. Right. This is the one book you need. And you remember back in the day, they didn't even let the people read. It was only the priests that read it. So they're sitting there reading it and they said, "This is what the book says."
Yeah.
And
I know, and you told me, Cameron, that you're a big history buff, and I am too, right? So Gutenberg was the first one, right? The printing press was
oh, right, right.
and that was the first book that was mass produced because before that, the monks were the one were handwriting them, and then they were in
Mm.
Latin too. So and
And
most people were illiterate too.
so they didn't even write the language that they spoke, let alone
Yeah.
understand what the priest up there is telling them.
Yeah. But they said that once the book came out, the print, the people were getting a hold of it.
Mhm.
They would get up in the church and stand up and go, "Hey, wait a minute now. It doesn't say that on chapter 5." And they were like, "Oh man, they're like these people are out of control." Yeah.
That's
Yep.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I remember I was in a humanities class and they were telling us that I think it was for the first like 80 something years after the Bible was translated, after it was written down, translated, whatever. People were in an uproar. They're like, "Nah, that's not what this thing says. Like, that's not what the
Mhm.
ancient text said." But then eventually,
Mhm.
you get beat in the head enough, and
Right.
I guess that's
Right.
what it says.
Yeah. Yep. 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 I know. I know. That's the powers that be. But
Mhm.
History is a beautiful thing, man. Once you start, getting into it, that's what I said. I'm a history buff, and I live here in New Jersey, right?
Mm,
And I love to run. I'm an avid runner, and
mm,
I was running down by on the east side where you could see Manhattan across, the
mm.
Hudson.
Yeah, yeah.
I came across this plaque, Camron, and I'm a history, so I stopped and I said, "Oh, let me read it." And I read the plaque, and they said, "Here is the spot. Right below here is where Hamilton had the duel with Burr,
Oh
had the shootout right here." And I was like, "What? Right here? Oh my God!" Like I just lit up, bro. And then I went to the internet. I started, doing my research and
wow.
started finding out that he was shot there. He died 2 days later, but
Mm,
um, that was the same spot where his son had a duel
yes.
with another cat, because disrespecting his old man. He was like, "Yeah, we gonna have it," and then shot, and then his son that with the same pistols, with the same pistols.
Damn.
Yeah, crazy, bro.
That's
Mm,
wild.
yeah,
Mm,
and then they say that, uh, and this is the thing about history that I love.
mhm.
They said that Hamilton, he took out his gun and he shot it in the air, and the other guy shot him.
Right.
And but they said that Manhattan Chase Bank is the one that owns the original guns, right?
Mm.
So they did some forensic testing on it, and they found out that Hamilton's gun was tampered with. It had a hairpin trigger. So they said the truth is that he probably pulled it out and it fired, bro.
Wow. He
And
didn't even get his chance.
the guy said, "Oh, you was going to get me," and then he just took his shot.
Right, right. He said, "Oh,
Yeah,
you didn't. I'm still. Let me get this guy."
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
but
it
that's history.
that's
Mhm.
wild just how, and I won't go too far left, but it's just wild even how that's the narrative that we were given, that he fired it off in the air like it was
Yeah,
some noble
good
act or
guy. He
something
was a
like
noble
that.
actor because he was a good. Yeah, he just wanted to win too. He wanted to win, just like everybody. So
Right.
but history's like that, man. You can learn a lot of. If you do your research. So why don't you tell me a little bit about something that you found out that was fascinating in history, that when you learned about it, you were like, "Oh, man."
So many of those. I'll give you a recent one, okay? So what we
Mhm.
understand as Kemet, right? Kemet was, so first off, we know Egypt, right? The actual name is Kemet. The Kemetic people never called it Egypt. That was the name of like a city or province or something like that. One little place, one little area in it. But then Kemet in the Happy Valley, aka the Nile Valley, it was actually a continent-wide civilization. It was a continent-wide empire, right? So you had all these African houses that came together, these African royal houses, if you want to call it that, and they created what we understand as Kemet, which was from all across every part of Africa. And
Mhm.
that's probably why we have so many different cultures being represented in, the inscriptions and whatnot in Kemet, right? But then it was also a global empire. And
Mhm.
so what we understand as Kemet was, what we understand as Egypt today was the mouthpiece of the whole African continent. All the wisdom from hundreds of thousands, probably a couple million years, probably a
Right.
few million years to
Mhm,
be,
mhm. Yep, yep.
fair,
Mhm.
came together, culminated into this classical civilization that we would later understand was Kemet. And it was it was almost like the whole Happy Valley was a giant library slash museum slash
Mhm.
university. It's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
we got to like expand our minds into what it really was, because it's not like it's too easy to be like, oh, it's this little area in
Mhm.
northeastern Africa. Like, nah, like this was like the mouthpiece, like
Mhm.
all that knowledge, and this was a repository for the information of the ancient world, the pre-diluvian world before, because there was a great catastrophe that happened on this earth.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so after this catastrophe, that information that became the storehouse for the information, and where civilization was rebuilt from that point and then spread throughout there. And so that's why we see so many, like, look, melanated people, we've been in the Americas for
Mhm.
200,000 to 300,000 years,
Yep. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
We've been here. So, like, and I know that's tough for a lot of people to wrap their minds around, but then a lot of that information is now coming forward.
Mhm.
And there's always been a connection with the African continent
Mhm.
throughout this whole period. And so for this like little 500-year gap, this little 500-year gap right here
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
Earth's history is that's the only time where there hasn't been a connection. And
Mhm.
that's not even to take away from because 200, 300,000 years is a long time
Mhm.
to build up a civilization and build
Mhm.
up. You're talking
Mhm.
about the Amazon, right? You spoke about
Mhm.
them, the institutions that they created
Mhm.
to pass on their legacy and to pass on
Mhm.
information
Mhm.
and to keep their civilization together, the continuity of their civilization. So
Mhm.
that's 300,000 years where you had a continuity that was built, and then it was disrupted by what we call the Ma'afa, the slave trade,
Mhm.
the chattel,
Mhm.
all that stuff. But
Mhm.
even then, with like what we're told about that is,
Mhm.
it's not exactly what happened.
Mhm.
There was a lot
Mhm.
more people over here than
Mhm.
what we're led to believe.
Right, right.
Mhm,
It's coming out now. That's the beauty of social media too, right? Because it's a double-edged sword. Like here I am scrolling a lot of garbage, but they're releasing information, you know,
mhm,
that generally people wouldn't see, and they could see like, hey, there was something already going on here. So you're
right,
right. You're right.
right.
That's wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
because when you look at the logistics, you're like, nah,
Mhm.
that's how they do that.
Mhm.
It's a lot of legwork. That's a lot of like, did y'all
Right.
even have the technology to do that?
Right, right. I know. I was seeing something like that recently too. Some of the building structures and like what? Nah, I mean, it's that old thing, especially like in modern day Egypt.
Mhm.
they, they say, "Oh, the ancient people they built all these. They moved the rocks and all that with sleds and oil and pulling, and that's the way they did it, with rope and with copper chiseled tools, shaping granite, that that you would
And
need diamond cutting technology.
granite, it would
So
right, copper and so and like verdite. This is one
birdite.
Baba Credo Mutwa? Oh man, you gotta look into him. You've probably seen him
Okay,
before. Credo
I've probably seen
Mutwa.
it before.
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a Zulu shaman. He just transitioned a few years ago. So rest in
Mm.
power to Baba
Rest in
Credo.
power.
But
Wow.
he explained that like verdite, that's one of the hardest stones.
Mm,
And not to go too deep into it, but you're telling me
mm.
that they use copper tools to
Right.
chisel verdite? Like that's not what
Yeah.
happened. I don't know how it happened, but it wasn't with copper
Right.
tools.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, we're not sure. The Bembe stone also. That was the stone cap from the Great Pyramid, the
Yes,
Bembe stone.
yes,
And they
yes.
said that stone, you only find it in space. It's not even from here. Like, so how did they carve it? Like with these designs on it? It's just incredible.
And
Just
where's it at
fascinating.
now? Where's the Ben Ben stone now?
It's in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
Mm. And
Yeah.
then and right, and so you have that, and then even like the pyramid was had a limestone capsule, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Limestone, right?
And then
So it's
they
like, go ahead, brother.
no, I was gonna also mention about I had read a story where they had found some writings on papyrus saying that the high priest was the one who had something in his hand, and when he hit it, the stone got up and moved into its place, right where it belonged.
Mm,
That, yeah, yeah,
mm,
they even know it's like that. What was that thing?
right.
They, but there it is. It's written, but we don't believe it until now. They're doing it now. They're doing it with sound. They're doing it with sound.
And now and I'm glad you said because there's so many sound experiments you can see. Have you seen the one where there's like there's water dripping and then they hit it with some
Hmm.
frequencies and then all of a sudden it's doing this
Yeah,
and they're doing
yeah,
dancing, the
yeah,
same
yeah.
water stream is starting to dance and move different ways.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's the study of cymatics. You know,
Mhm.
cymatics. If you know that scientist, I forgot his name, but I think it was from Germany. He was the one who put the sand on the flat metal, and he struck
Yes.
the violin bow to it. Ying. And
Mhm.
every time he would do different tunes to it, he was seeing different shapes. And then they started noticing that those shapes They're in nature,
Yep.
like the turtle's back, like the sunflower seeds, like and you look at the temples over there in Kemet, they're talking about it. It's right there.
Mhm. And see, and this is my thing. And so this is the next thing. This is like been my one of my newest things, one of my latest things with history, just off of that, is
Mhm,
that in a place like again, Kemet,
mhm.
there's no mystery. They laid it all out, but our technology and our knowledge base hasn't caught up to
Mhm.
understand what they were telling us. Because if we could understand it, then we could just sit back and look, oh, okay, well, yeah, this
Right,
but
for
we
sure.
haven't even caught up to that point yet.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And the powers that be, they know lots of things that we don't know. That's why they have, all the ancient texts, the Popol Vuh, they have
Mhm.
all they you see where they at, where they went, they burned them. No, no, they know. Right? They say the Vatican has a lot of stuff.
In the Vatican Library.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the other stuff is what they give the general public. They give
Mhm.
that. I don't want to say, but they feed us that, and
Yeah,
people bow down to it. And that's the one that always gets me. The conqueror that comes in, enslaves your people, and murders and all kind of atrocities, and then gives you a god that looks just like the,
right.
and then you bow down to it too. Ooh,
Ain't
ooh,
right, brothers.
that's deep.
Something ain't right.
That, that's
Something ain't right.
that's deep. That's deep. That's deep.
And it's like you said, you got to ask the questions. You got to
Let's
ask
ask the
why. You got
question.
to do the critical
Yeah.
thinking to that because
Mhm.
there's something's not right about that.
Something not right. It can't be. No. But once you start learning, it was a safety mechanism too, Camron, right? Because
Mhm.
here is the conqueror that came in, and they would just do whatever they wanted. So you wouldn't teach your kids the ancient ways. You were afraid they might say something, and then they'll
Right,
they'll, they'll snatch up your kids. So you tell them what they're telling you to say. You say it to your children.
right.
But
Just to
people
keep them safe.
Yeah, but people are coming back now. They're looking at different things, and even the culture from Puerto Rico too. They have the ancient gods that were there too. Uh,
Mm,
but they were African influence. Again,
mm,
it goes back to Africa because they're the
mm.
ones that came in with all the knowledge. You know,
Right.
and that's
So,
where voodoo comes in and
mhm.
Santeria and those type of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly, right. So something that you said, you reminded me because this is like a history slash biology slash spirituality thing, right? So this is another deep thing that hit me. So I've been studying quantum biology. Are you familiar with quantum biology? It's it's
No.
quantum mechanics, but in our body, and it's
Okay.
it's like it makes you think because it's like if you know or anybody your listeners know about quantum mechanics, like okay, that makes sense. You're talking about the quantum world and all that. Like, why wouldn't that be going on in our bodies too? Right?
Mhm.
Because we're part of this world.
Mhm.
So with quantum biology, there's a few examples that they use. They talk about the sense of smell. They
Mhm.
talk about the navigation system that birds and fish use, right? So they're basically saying that it's in flux,
Mhm.
like it's possible that it's in a quantum state where it's never it's never one thing. It could be like all possibilities at the same time, and then they
Mhm.
hone in on one. I'm still don't fully understand what they're talking about, but they're saying in all
Mhm.
if you look up quantum biology, they're gonna talk about the birds,
Mhm.
smell, and
Mhm.
chlorophyll, right? I
Mm.
say chlorophyll is a major one. Chlorophyll, because the way chlorophyll moves an electron transport system and all this stuff, how it transports energy. And it says that basically it's almost like it's transporting energy through every channel at one time in one channel at one time, all at the same time,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
right. So
Wow.
that's quantum biology, right? What
Mhm.
they don't tell you is that melanin is an advanced version of chlorophyll, or better yet, chlorophyll is a less advanced version of melanin. And I'm gonna tell you what they say about chlorophyll because they say that the way that chlorophyll is designed, it's not designed as an adaptation to the environment. Oh, the because of the sun and this and that. So it needed to develop this green pigment. No, it's that the plant was designed as an expression of chlorophyll.
Mm.
It's the same thing with melanin. So when you look at people, because everything has melanin in it, pretty much everything has melanin. Even people who would call so-called Caucasian have
Right.
melanin in them.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
because melanin is not just the skin; that's just one aspect of melanin. But the thing with melanin, it's not that we develop melanin as an adaptation to this hot climate in Africa. It is that we are an expression of melanin. We are a perfect expression of the melanin molecule.
Wow, wow, that makes me think of, fractals. I learned about fractals too, right? About
There we
that's
go.
the vibrational frequency. It's just an expression, of
There
things.
we
That's
go.
like where we have like 5 fingers, 2 eyes, and it's just vibration. That's it. It's all coming full circle. It's just energy. It's just energy, brother, and it's
Energy.
alive. It has intelligence and all that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm,
Thank you. What you just said, right? So
mhm,
we are all fractals. We are fractal
mhm,
technology.
mhm,
Our bodies, like you said, the two hands, like even if you go down again to the divine proportions, and
mhm,
this right here is a body inch. This is about one in your body inch. But this right here, your body is broken down into perfect body inches. The body
mhm.
can be measured, like the
Right,
arm, the length of the arm is a certain amount, no matter if you're
right,
tall, short, fat, skinny, anything like that.
right.
It's broken down into perfect proportions and
Mhm.
fractals, what you're talking about, right?
Yes, yes. I'm thinking about the temple in Kemet too, the Temple of Man. Went there too.
What is the temple of
The
man?
Temple of Man, the layout of it on the bird's eye view, you see,
Mhm.
it's laid out just in perfect proportion as a human being. The head, the arm, the body, all of that.
I know
It's
what you're
a
talking
huge
about.
temple. Yeah, it's all there. It's math. That's the beautiful thing about these sacred geometries and sacred structures, is because Bibles and all of these books can always be changed in some way, but the pyramids and these temples, you can't. It's already there in the structure. They're
Right.
speaking to you right there. You just have to decode it. There's no way it could be changed. It's there. Right?
Yeah.
Already about the Great Pyramids, like about the circumference of the planet and the distance. Like it's all
Yes.
mapped right there.
Yes. And
They're telling you.
that's kind of what I'm saying to you too. It's like one, they used again the human body to create the measurement system that was used for these structures. And that's it. This is a key to unlocking a lot of structures around the world. Like I'm dropping it right now for you,
Right, right.
for kind of bringing the pieces together for your audience. But it's
That's
like
what's up.
they use these features all across the world. So anything that goes by the cubit, the royal cubit. You can
Mhm,
just put that on structures in the Americas, in India,
mhm, mhm,
China, all over, and find out where the home is. Because the home of the cubit and the royal cubit is in Kemet.
mhm,
That's
mhm,
where it was, if nothing else, it was codified to say, okay, this is the measurement stone that we're going to use to measure everything else. And you're going to know if it's mundane or if it's sacred by if it's the cubit or the royal cubit. That's a jewel right there. That's a gem
mhm.
right there that people
Yes,
can run
hey,
with and
thank
do
you,
whatever
thank
they
you.
will. But that's you can
I
unlock
appreciate you.
you can
Mhm.
unlock
Yep.
all the ancient archaeology, and like you said, it's
Mhm,
right there, and it's based on the measurement. It's based on the human body, even the measurement. And you were
mm,
talking about Merkut, the Great Pyramid. Yeah, I think it's the circumference. Yeah, the circumference of the base. Don't quote me on this now, right? I think it's the
mhm,
circumference of the base is the equatorial circumference,
mm,
and then the circumference of the top is the polar radius.
mhm,
Oh no, it's
mhm,
the height. The height
mhm,
is the
mhm,
polar radius times
mhm,
43,200. Both of those times 43,200. And then if you go to 43,200, 432 hertz, that's the
mhm,
Schumann resonance of the earth. The
right.
Schumann resonance is the actual
Mhm,
vibration or the heartbeat of the Earth, right? But then when you start going into the galactic ages, you have 432,000 years is the galactic age in one culture or another culture. So that number 432 keeps coming up, but then
Mhm.
that corresponds directly with our bodies, you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's what you're saying. All this stuff was correct. What do you call it? Constructed into the
Mhm.
archaeology, where you can go
Mhm.
there and look at it, and if you know what you're looking at, then
Right.
you can decode it. If you don't know, because if they
Right.
keep us ignorant, then we're not going to know what
Right.
it is. But it's
Right.
there and it can't be changed.
Mm. Have you ever seen this documentary? You can find it on YouTube called Inner Worlds, Outer Worlds.
No.
It's a four-part. Look it up. Inner worlds, outer worlds, and it's super powerful, man. What I like to say about it, this guy is a labor of love that he did.
Mm,
But what I like to say about it is that thank God that people are paying attention around here. Laying the facts down, science. I mean, there's a lot of great guys out there. They drop the knowledge too. Oh, I forgot that other brother's name too. He passed on too. He was an African scholar too. One of my favorite. Oh, I forget his name. Yeah, he was deep, deep,
was it
deep
South
into it.
African?
I don't think he was South African. What was his name?
Zulu Matabo Zulu?
No, no,
Okay,
no,
because he just
no.
transitioned a few months ago.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
Oh,
God that there's
Mali
people.
Doma.
Mm, mm.
Was it Mali Doma Patrice
No,
Somé?
wasn't Money Coming.
Ooh, that's
No.
another one. He just transitioned
Yeah.
to another one.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Heavy
Thank
hit.
God. Thank God. Thank God, bro. Yeah, you could just listen to these guys for days because they know they
Yeah.
study, they're scholars, and they bring the receipts too,
And they
right?
bring the receipts.
I
That's the
know, I
thing.
know, I know. And a lot of these guys, it's hard to find them like that anymore. Some that are coming out nowadays, they got it. They talking good stuff, emerald tablets and all of that,
Right,
but
right,
then
right.
they're selling, hair cream and all that. What?
Mhm.
Come on.
You gotta go, like, you have to find the old grainy film footage of these elders and these men and women who were just talking, just talking and explaining. There was a certain point in history, from what I understand, in the last, let's say, like 50 years even, where a lot of these knowledge keepers were permitted to bring this information to the general public. They said, okay, this is the time. There's a transformation coming.
Mhm.
We're allowed to speak more deeply on things that were really held close to the
Mm,
chest for
mhm,
hundreds of thousands, millions of years.
Right, right. That we spoke about before. Like, yeah, just be careful, because yeah, if they will catch you, if they could, they'll snatch you up and they'll
Mhm.
get you. They already did that, like with the Inquisitions and stuff,
Right,
and
right.
you know,
So
I
many.
I I love
Mhm.
this one. I love this one story because again, history, right? And we're coming past the hour now, but we're gonna wrap it up.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
there's this one story where the guy was at the pulpit and he started bringing the truth and the fire about the church and and they snatched him up. They bring him to the torture and they held him like for months and months and hurt him up and everything. And they said, be careful out there. And then they let him go. The story goes that he went back to the pulpit and the first thing he said was, like I was saying,
Right. 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 And
and he
that's how
just went on right from there, bro. I said, woo!
you gotta be.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
like
wow.
if you're committed, like if you're about that life, then be all
Yeah.
the way in. There's no fence riding right now.
Right,
And
right.
and people are gonna learn and gain from that in the end of the day. People are gonna be
Mhm.
empowered by that. And who knows how many people in those pulpits were now sparked from him going and doing that.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, it's a powerful thing, man, and it's so good to speak with you. Your
Like,
conversation is so refreshing, man. I appreciate you, and we do the podcast. We speak to many different authors and health enthusiasts and
mm,
spiritual guides and stuff. But I know that you're going to be there on Sunday,
yeah,
providing the massage and all the knowledge as well
right.
too. So
Energy work, right, all that.
energy work. I'm looking forward to sharing space with you and yeah, man, let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, thank you, brother, for having me on here, brother. It's been
Sunday.
a real
Sunday.
pleasure to have
Of
this
course,
conversation.
brother. Of course. So we'll be there at the purely the got me confused up again. I got so many things going
Fairly
on.
Holistic Soul Expo. I
That's it.
got
That's
you.
it.
I
I
got
know Monique's gonna be like, "What, man? Oh, man." But yep. But I know it's at Restoration Plaza, and the
you.
address is 1368 Fulton. See, so
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
what people need to
Boom.
know, and that
Right.
is free. It's
Right,
free,
and that is free.
and they're giving a gift bag to the first 100 people. Like
Yup.
what? I've been to health these holistic expos before. There's this famous one that they have every year in the city. They hold it in some hotel, and I've been like
New
two
life.
times.
New life.
Is yeah, is it something like that? I mean, I had to pay a fee to get in,
Yep,
and then
yep.
everything was like crazy expensive. They wasn't giving nothing away, no
You ain't giving
samples,
nothing away.
not nothing away, bro. I was
Right.
like, and then the colors in the room too, and like I
Mhm.
was
Yeah,
like,
you know,
what? No, I mean
I'm
it's okay, but
I vended there a few times. I vended there
oh,
a few times over the
okay,
years. Imma tell you
okay,
something, it was a very interesting experience, but when we were there,
hmm
there were very few melanated people there, and it's funny because we were all in the same section together. Like, I remember that's where I first met Brother Hank, Brother Unc, because I vended next to him, I think 2 years in a row. I was like, "Hey," like, "Ah," and
okay,
then
yeah,
Forgotten Foods, I don't know if y'all know Forgotten Foods, they were
mm,
right next to me or right across, so we were, like, all in the
mm,
same section, like, "How did we all get
mm,
over here?"
yeah,
And
yeah.
our section was the illest section, mind you, it was the illest section in the whole
Ah,
expo.
oh, of course, bro. Of course, man, of
Uh-huh.
course. That's crazy. We do bring the fire and the passion and all that.
Mhm.
Anything from the islands, from anywhere that there's more color, there's always that
Yeah.
thing. We bring it to the sports, we bring it to music, we bring it to fashion, we bring it to everything,
Everything we touch.
communication and speech and yeah,
Everything we touch is gold, brother.
I
And I want
know.
to tell you
I know.
too, because one experience that I had there, I won't go into depth now just because of the time, but there's people out there who can see energy, and they can see our energy and they can perceive our energy and they know the work that we're doing. I had
Mhm,
someone like he peeped my whole game. I'm over there doing all kind of energy stuff. And like afterwards, he was just talking to me. I actually went over and had a conversation. He's like, "Yeah, I saw you over there. I saw you working with this and that." I said, you know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Like I felt exposed. Like, you saw
mhm.
that? Yeah, but he had been through whatever initiations, you know what I mean? And he
Mhm,
appreciated the work. And I just wanted to say that, like
mhm,
there's people out there that can also see our light, they can see our
mhm,
light and they
mhm,
can perceive it. And so, yeah, and this goes out to all my light workers out there, even if you're not seen, you know what I'm saying? You're seen. You know what I mean? Like there are those who are they can see what you're doing.
mhm,
Some of them
mhm,
may hate, but then a lot of people appreciate it. A lot of people quietly appreciate it.
mhm, mhm. That's beautiful. Well, we'll leave it at that, brother. Why don't you, Cameron, tell us where people can find you? They want to talk with you, rap with you, and.
You can find me at armew.com, ARMEW.com. You could also email me at Camron at armew.com. That's my email address. You can go onto my website and you can go under I think it's contact us, and there's actually patient intake form on there. So, if you fill that out and just want to have a conversation, a consultation, I do consultations as well. And these are, it's kind of, like I said, everything is energy. So sometimes people just want to talk, get some things off their chest and
Mhm,
figure out the direction to go. I'm not a psychic. I'm not anything like that. I deal with energy. I read energy. I look at people and I see energy, and I see reflections of myself. And
mhm,
so, armu.com. You can find me at Instagram, armu a.r.m.e.w.
mhm, mhm. Okay, that's beautiful. Energy. Yeah, I'm sensitive to those things now too. Once you start waking up, like I step into the room. I went to this one event where it was a Dr. Sebi,
Mm,
or alkaline food and desserts and stuff. And as soon as I walked into the place, I was like, something's a little off here. I
mm,
don't know what it is. Everything seems fine, but there's something on. And I was like, just relax. Oh, it's no big thing. So, I enjoyed the event and all that. And then the next day I spoke to my man, the one who was helping to, he put it together and all that. And he said, yeah, that he was having a beef with the other photographer, the guy, and there was
mm.
tension in the air. And I
Yup,
was like, what?
right.
I was like, you see, You see, I just felt it. There was no words. There was no bad looking. No, it wasn't. It
Yeah.
wasn't that. Trust me, it
And
wasn't that. It was just energy, bro.
And I'm glad you said that too, because so many times we walk into these, spaces, different types of spaces. It could even be onto the subway train. And if
Mm,
people aren't aware of that, then they might take that on themselves. Oh man, I'm feeling this way. It's like maybe you're not feeling that way. Maybe there was something funky going on in that particular subway car before you
right,
walked in,
right,
and you're just catching wind. So,
right,
it's
right.
really important, even when we come home at night, just to kind of cleanse from all of that and just,
Mm,
figure
mm,
out, okay, what's mine and what doesn't belong to me. Because a lot of us are walking around with things that don't belong to us, and we
mm,
internalize it and take it on as if it belongs to
mm.
us.
Right, right. True
All
that.
that's
True
part of my
that.
work. All that's part of what
Yeah. All
happens
right.
in that chair. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. Come on down Sunday and you get some more. And being that currently we're on the Wake Up Radio,
Hmm.
right? Being
Right on.
broadcasted there too. I'd also like to say that we're the OMZL Healing Sanctuary, and we have a website as well. And OMZL is OMZIEL, and it's a quite unique name. My name is Omar, and my wife's name is Aziel, so we put it together, OMZL. You know, and you can find us there. We have the YouTube channel, OMZL Sanctuary, and we're on Facebook, and you find us on Instagram, OMZL Healing, and Twitter and LinkedIn and all those type of stuff too. And you are on the Art of Rising. Thank
Mm.
you so much, brother Cameron.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
brother
Thank you,
Omar.
brother. Peace and
Appreciate
love. Let me just put you backstage for a quick minute. I want to
it. Mhm.
continue talking with you.
All
Stand
right.
by, brother. There you have it, guys. Thank you so much for tapping in. I hope you do appreciate that one because that one was fire, man. Really. Catch us this Sunday over there at Restoration Plaza. It's the Purely Holistic Soul Expo. It's right there on the ticker. Come through. It's free. Starts at 12 p.m., ends at 5 p.m. Free giveaways. They're giving a free gift bag. There'll be samples and come down, get a massage, get some energy work, some crystals, there's candles, and get into the ice plunge as well. Looking forward to seeing you there, family. Peace.